Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ServiceMonster podcast. I'm super excited today. I mean, Brandon and I hang out and good things always happen. We've been on a number of podcasts, him on mine on his, and there's always magic there. But Brandon, I've been so interested in what you've got going on over these last couple of months with this. You know what? I'm going to show these MFers what systems looks. I know it's in your head, man. What these systems look like and what you can do with a well thought out, well orchestrated, well mind crafted, well systematized, getting the right people, putting the right people on the bus, meeting the right finances, not skimping on expenses, but having a freaking plan and starting a brand new business from scratch, taking a business model that doesn't really maybe go against any of your clients. That was a problem I was going to have because I thought about doing a carpet cleaning business at one point, and I was like, they'll just be pissed at me if I did. Like everybody in Whatcom County would be so mad. Anyway, so that was a genius. I wanted to bring you on because I want to talk about this crazy thing you're doing. You're documenting the whole thing. I mean, yeah, you're building $1 million business, but you're mostly documenting the process and using it as a mirror to say, look, what we coach about, what we talk about in our Conquer groups, this is real world stuff. And so many of you guys say, yeah, but you're not flipping your $400,000 business into $1 million business. Let me just show you how to do it. So talk to me about the inception of this and how this thing all came about, man.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, it actually started the day that I sold All Clean. And we got to that point to where I sold that business and I got the check and I got the exit. And I was like, this is cool. I want to build another business. I want to build it up. I want to flip it. I want to sell it. And I can just keep doing this, start up a new business, build it, sell it, build it up, sell it. Like that's what I actually thought that I was going to be doing was going and just starting businesses and flipping it and selling it. Like, I'm like, that's my new career path because it's so much fun to like put these things together. Well, it took me a few years to convince my wife to let me get back into the journey of starting a service business. Cause I was like, as soon as I sold, I'm like, all right, what should I do next? She's like, no, not yet. You got Conquer, like, stay focused there. And she helped rein me in. And it was very, very smart that she did because it enabled me to just kind of like focus on actually, getting Conquer set up, getting the coaches, getting that structure and things. But then the timing just kind of felt right to do this. And it's something that I've wanted to do is when, starting a new business and document it literally from zero, like, what's the thought process of coming up with the name and picking the services and picking the competitive differentiators. And one of the things that I always said that I would do if I was to start a business over again from zero is to hire a full-time salesperson from day one and also hire a full-time technician from day one and not work it all out in the field. Brilliant. So those are kind of like those rules that I kind of set up for documenting this journey.
Yeah. I mean, before I started ServiceMonster, my two things is I had been in partnerships for tech startups, and man, I was just flying everywhere. For the most part, I was living in Sacramento with my family. We had 2 kids at the time, and I was working in Denver, and I'd see my family a day and a half over the weekend.
That's rough.
Yeah. And so when I conceived of ServiceMonster, I was in a Summerfield Suites hotel, and the first 2 rules is no travel. Rule number 1, no freaking travel. Rule number 2, no travel. And of course, no travel is euphemism. It's coupled
right
2, 3.
It's not travel what it was. Yeah, it's not the travel of what it was. Right.
So yeah, no, I can relate to that. But man, that's so what made you say now? And I mean, coming up with the name, yeah, but even before the name, you needed a model. So how did you guys kind of conceive the business model, and what care was given to not colliding with any businesses that you may be coaching?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's, first of all, we don't have too many people inside my own little city in general. My biggest constraint was my non-compete, right? And honoring my non-compete of selling my exterior cleaning business and not starting another exterior cleaning business. Other than that, I'm not really going to be bumping elbows with too many other people. It's interesting. I actually met with a local uh, HVAC and plumbing company here as part of my first episode. I'm picking which service businesses, I should be doing. And I asked him point blank, he's in my town. I'm like, hey, what would you think about me starting an HVAC plumbing business right here in Portland? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Do it. He's like, that would be amazing. That'd be awesome. And it just was so cool because he's a very, very successful company. They're doing 8 figures a year with their HVAC and plumbing business. And to me, that abundance mindset of it doesn't really, I mean, the market is so huge. You have no idea how big the market really is until you actually start saturating a lot of it and then realizing like every day you're talking to people that have never heard of you at all. And even with All Clean, when we were doing, 450 to 500K a month, we probably only had about a 2% market share in our town. I mean, like there's just so much more work to do, so many different types of customer segments and things that you can target. So most of our conquerors, I think, even if I did pick something that maybe is like close to competing, even if I was in their same town, we have a group full of people with abundance mindsets. It just wouldn't really feel that bad about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, let's be real. It helps with the HVAC and plumbing industry. Their average invoices are, a factor larger than like the cleaning businesses that we've worked with, right? So to that end, talk to us about your model. So what did you pick? What's your model? What kind of average invoices and margins are you looking for? Like, what's
Sure.
the secret sauce, man?
So when I decided to pick it, I was kind of, figuring like what was honestly one of the industries that I really almost went with, like this close. I had a bunch that I was kind of researching and trying to think through, like, what would that next service industry be? And pest control almost got the ticket as far as me wanting to do my next one because of the recurring service model. Like that was
Right.
really interesting to me. And I had a little bit of that with my cleaning business, every 6 months, every quarter, every month with commercial stuff. So it was actually the fact that I'd never done a business that was purely just kind of a one and done, which is the business that I picked, which is painting and floor coatings, predominantly floor coatings though. We decided very early on in the concept process, I decided that I wanted to niche down into the floor coating space. Average tickets are about $3,000.
Nice.
And
You're halfway between an HVAC business and a carpet cleaning business.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's, the average ticket is about there, but it's not recurring, like we have lifetime warranties on our installs and there's not a whole lot more that you can offer. And I'm still kind of, maybe there might be like a cleaning or a maintenance thing where we go in every once in a while, but I don't know if I really want to necessarily do that. Cause even though it's kind of a one and done, taste change, customers move, new businesses come in, they want new flooring choices. Like there's always going to be a supply of that type of thing. And so the model pretty much is spend a ton on marketing, get a ton of leads, go out, close them, sell them, and then, stack them into the schedule. And
make good margins.
Yeah, it's fantastic margins. And the system side, I think probably what I spent the majority of time doing before we actually launched it was really thinking through how are we going to be different? How can we completely crush our competition? Because there's very heavy competition in my area for this, where every single bid we're going up against 3 competitors, every single one.
Right.
But we're winning, and we're winning enough to be growing very, very fast, which is cool.
Well, you guys been doing this 5 months now, 4 months now?
4 months. Yeah. So we started January 1 and we're in month 4 right now. We're just finishing month 4.
Yeah. And when you close month 5, what's going to be your monthly revenue?
Well, closing month 4 at this month, we'll probably be at about 90K for this month.
4 months in business, $90,000 in revenue for the month.
90,000. Yeah.
That's right.
My growth plan when we first started out, so I'm kind of trending ahead as opposed to what we budgeted out. I still did a pretty aggressive growth plan of basically doing about 950,000 year 1. And,
No, you're
getting
already
to,
going to beat that. I mean, if you're
yeah,
chasing a million, it's $83,333.33
that's right.
to get to a million. You need to do that a month to get to $1 million in revenue for the year. And so you're already clipping over that, dude.
Yeah. So at the end, what's live right now on the map to a million is obviously a couple of months delayed because of the editing process and
Right.
compiling the videos and being strategic about, the kind of the flow. If we want things, we got lots of content produced. But at the end of this month, we'll have 7 full-time employees, not including me. And we'll be, basically on track to do probably 130K in the end of month 5.
So when you're done with the first year, what are you going to have invested? Because I'm sure end of first year, you guys are profitable. Everything's cash positive by that point. Yeah.
Oh, we're cash positive now.
Already.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're cash positive. We actually, we decided to lease our vans, and inside of that lease package, we have all the upfit, all of the wrap, $750 a month payment on that, with the option at the end of 5 years to just buy it for $7,000, which we will. And that's all just like packaged in. So our cash on the vehicles has been very, very close to non-existent. And then on the equipment side, we started renting at the beginning because we didn't have enough cash to buy the big $20,000 grinders.
Right.
So it's like we started renting, and then we bought like a $5,000 grinder, and then we like upgraded to like this. And then now we're just now buying a $20,000 grinder cash. I mean, we have the ability to be able to buy it because we've been able to set up enough stuff moving in. So yeah, we're hitting about 25% profit margins right now for April.
And you're still getting things dialed in. I mean,
we're still getting things dialed in. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. We just hired our first full-time office manager Monday, and she came onto the team. And now keep in mind, up until this point, my full-time sales guy, Tanner, I don't answer any phones. He answers all the phone calls. So we have Vonage, we have VoIP. It just rings right to his cell phone. So he answers the phones, he schedules the estimates, he closes the jobs, and he puts them on the calendar. And he manages all that communication from the beginning. Well, with that, there's been all kinds of jobs and leads and estimates that have been slipping through the cracks.
Oh no.
I mean, tons. It's part of it. And we're still growing.
Right.
But so the first 3 days that she was here, she went through and audited every single call, and started in January. And she's like, like day 3, she goes, "Oh, it's so awesome. I've been calling all the old customers and everyone to make sure anyone that Tanner may have missed or anything that's going on. And I got 6 new estimates scheduled for Tanner for next week because of all those previous leads that maybe like slipped through the cracks or to do this." It's all about massive imperfect action. I mean, you just got to go. You just got to move. Right. I mean, and sometimes
10x.
people get caught up too much in, "Oh, I got to have all of my training systems all completely dialed in before I make that first hire."
A perfect, the enemy of the good,
the
successful.
Yeah, just go hire them, bring them on, train them, and while you train them, document it and create your systems as you go.
So how many of these people are you kind of tapping from previous experience?
Well, so
because they're not new, brand new hires, cold interviews, and
some of them are, yeah, absolutely.
7 people. So but I mean, your key people on the bus, right? You tap them from other places.
I'll tell you where my number one source is referrals. That's been the number one. So when we bring, Tanner and Jackson, they painted my house, and we have a whole episode dedicated to how I found them and how they came onto my team. I've known them for some time, but up until that point, each of them had their own individual owner operator businesses. And so I recruited them. I brought them in. I pitched them the whole idea of what I was wanting to do and how I was going to get the setup and what the vision for it is. You got to sell the vision and the opportunity to get it on the ground floor. And so we brought them in. They brought in referrals for some of our first few hires. Our office manager was a referral from someone else in that network. And then a new technician that is going to be coming out next week and doing our working interviews was a referral from my office manager. So when you focus on creating a really killer company culture and leveling everyone up, and you promise on, or you deliver on your promises, you will get a massive amount of people that will just refer their family and their friends and other people because your company's different.
100%.
And I think a lot of people don't focus on that part of it. They just focus on where do I get my helpers at?
Or even when they say they do, it's like, yeah, they get the, yeah. I've seen Simon Sinek. Yeah. I've heard about, find your why, but
Right.
I don't think they don't get it. It's like know thyself, right? Until you walk the
Mm,
path, you don't know it.
right.
Until you are the thing, the embodiment of the thing that is your nature, then you'll never get there. So, um, and it's just so cool. So you're documenting all of this, of course, right? So what's the motivation? I mean, there's got to be some like, look, guys, in it, right? What's the motivation behind that? And everybody's going to want to see this.
Hey, look,
Besides
this
getting the eyeballs, because you're always really good about getting the eyeballs.
so there's actually several different motivations for doing it. One, it's always been my dream to start a new company from zero and to document the process for posterity's sake, just for my own. Oh man, remember that one job and that one nightmare thing that happened and we got it on video? Because I've done that with my old System Saturday videos where I go back and watch videos. Even now as an entrepreneur, no matter what I do, I video journal a lot, and I'll take my selfie camera out and I'll talk to myself and I'll be like, dude, Brandon, this week sucks, man. Like you have $4,000 in the bank and you're worried about $20,000 in payrolls coming out Friday. Like, dang, this is hard. And I throw it into a private folder that I have in my Google Drive. And whenever I'm feeling really crappy about myself and in despair, I go back and I watch those videos because it motivates me to be like, you did it though. You beat it. You made it through it. And you're going to make it through this time that's tough. So posterity's one. Being able to add value is to other entrepreneurs. I love teaching. I love doing content. It feeds me. It feels incredible to be able to add value to a lot of other people. And the third component, thankfully, is I have a way to monetize it because this is very expensive. I mean, I spend $5,000 to $7,000 a month to produce these dumb videos. So, so I have to be able, I'm not, what do they call it? FU money, where you just you can just do whatever you want just because.
Yeah.
I'm not that. I'm not that. So I got to have some incentive for it. So we have our Maps Mastery program. That's basically my version of a Patreon. So we have the channel, and then I have a call to action just about at the end of every single one of my videos. Hey, you want to, we have a private group. We do monthly group coaching calls. I have 40 video modules where I go into deep dive on this. I do behind the scenes content and stuff. And we have a few hundred members that are in that. So,
awesome.
we want to keep driving that forward to kind of, be able to support the channel and do more awesome, epic video content in there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I almost got sucked down a side project of a similar making, but it happened in reverse. My marketing manager sent me out to go check out TikTok.
Oh yeah, baby. That could be the vortex.
And at first I was like, oh, man, there's nothing here for businesses yet.
Dude,
right?
I heard from other people about your TikTok channel and how you became this
150,000 people in 4 months.
Heck? You became this little TikTok
science
sensation.
And philosophy. Yeah.
I love it.
And
cool.
Man, it took way too much time. It was such a huge time sink. And I'm like, monetizing a philosophy and critical thinking and science frame of mind, could be done. Certainly could have been done, but I didn't have the time, effort, or energy for it. I mean, I got this little thing in ServiceMonster that I gotta finish up, so, but no,
right.
It's incredible what you can do with media when you resonate with the people that you're targeting. Right. And so in here, the service businesses, you and I both want to bring value to these people as much as possible. I think above pretty much almost anyone else out there, ServiceMonster and the brand Brandon is really, I mean, we're leading the pack in so many different ways, but you always find this new way to twist it, innovate it, put a little bit of oomph behind it, right? Putting the $7,000 a month to produce these things. But yeah, it's content. I think that's people are really, really going to want to dial into. And if you guys aren't thinking about, I mean, how long what are you targeting for length on these episodes?
About 10 minutes.
Yeah.
8 to 12 minutes.
In 10 minutes, you're going to track this journey of this business who is going to bust $1 million before year one. Right. And how many people do we talk to in the cleaning industry specifically, right? Window cleaning, pressure washing, carpet cleaning, less than 6% of the industry is over $1 million earners. And so if you don't think there's something you can pull from this, like, I don't know, I guess you can't be helped. I guess there's no helping, right?
Do you know what actually gets me most excited about it is, the revenue is cool for sure, but I'm building this business with less than 10 hours a week working on it. Honestly, the most amount of time that I spend in this business is documenting stuff. Yeah. Just, the video side of it. One of the coolest things that Warren Buffett, when he was asked, what's the best investment that he would recommend and that you can make, he said, invest in yourself. And the cool thing is when you invest in your own education, people are like, well, Brandon, you're not starting this from scratch because you know how to build systems and you know how to, and I'm like, exactly, right. That you're right. I have shortcuts. I'm not starting out with
want
knowledge.
them? I have them written down.
Yeah. I'm not starting with the knowledge of zero,
That's right.
I'm taking resources out of Basecamp and all the done for you, templates and job descriptions and offer letters and, management techniques and
that's right.
And, frameworks.
It's kind of the frickin' point.
You bolted in. Yeah. You bolted in because when I first started, this journey of kind of getting to the place where I'm at now, I spent 1,000 hours of my time writing those documents and creating those things and doing them all myself. And the biggest aha moment, epiphany things that I've had over the last few years is, this concept of just collapsing time. If you can do something on your own, DIY, and it takes you, 2 years to get it done, put together a training program, it takes you 2 years and 500 hours to do. If you would just pay $5,000 to get it done in month one and then enjoy the benefits for a year and 11 months of having that program done, the more you can just collapse time and leverage an investor mindset to just get the thing done now and fast, then you have more time to actually experience the positive benefits as opposed to, well, now I've wasted 2 months and now I finally got it done. And yeah, I saved money, but you didn't save money. You spent boatloads of money.
I wish you would have told me that 18 years ago.
Me too, man. I wish someone told me that too. I do. I wish someone told me that too. And so that's kind of, this whole reason why I'm kind of documenting this stuff too, is it's all the things that I wish someone would have told me. And I just want to get it in a video format so other people don't have to go through the garbage that I went through trying to build this the first time.
Man alive, you ain't lying. Yeah. And you're not perfect on the second or third time either, right? Never. But that's when you start to, hopefully you've graduated to the point where teams and people become the resources that are valuable, right?
Yes.
And then you get the 10 hours a week because you have the people doing the actual work there that are competent and they're motivated and they're part of the family, right? Part of the culture. So, and that's another lesson that I had to learn pretty quick is, I'm a pretty talented guy. I got a big box of tools. That doesn't serve me all the frickin' time though. Right. Yeah. Because last thing I want to be is a genius with 1,000 helpers.
Right.
No, thank you. Yeah. Right. So handing over those things, little bit by little bit, development and architecture, marketing, sales, product development, Mr. Adam over here. Mm-hmm. The more I could offload that, man, the better, because the faster it gets done and the less of my fingerprints show up there, and I can purposefully put the ones I want in, right? Back away from all the bullshit that doesn't matter, but for the things that matter, you can be very strategic about what fingerprints you put in. And then you back away and you let the team do the thing. So yeah, it's got to be a blast this time around.
And I think a big aha that I've had too is that the 10 hours that I spend in the business, they're not out in the field doing stuff. I mean, that provides this much value. Like a business owner going out and doing something out in the field or doing something, this provides this. But I'm the only one in the company that can do the strategic things and the team building things and implementing the systems and, really dialing it up, crazily on the marketing side of things. And so that's why it's been such a cool, experience having people coming to the team from day one. Cause like I'm accomplishing things that I never thought would be possible in this short of a time period. It's because, from day one, I have someone owning the phones and the sales, which I hate answering the phones. Like, kill me answering the
Yeah.
phones. I like talking to customers in person, but then really quickly sales just becomes just another grind where it's just like, oh, the same estimates every
Yep.
day, every day, every day, every day. Whereas you get someone on the team that they just crave that and they love it and they're good at it and they'll do it tirelessly and relentlessly. Um, you can stay in your zone of genius. And no one else is going to fill the CEO role. Nobody else. There takes one CEO, and you can accomplish all that CEO role in X amount of hours. It doesn't really matter, but someone needs to be there, and you need to be out of everything else in order to stay, in that role and put the right team members in place. It's hard. It's
Well, especially for, people who start off like, I'm not a big fan of working for other people. I think I'm going to do something for myself. I can get a truck and I can start a service company. Right? Their immediate go-to is not from tech to exec. It doesn't.
That's right. It
It's
doesn't
not
work
an
that way
immediate.
in real life.
It doesn't. It doesn't, and
You
it
don't get to
takes
just
so
decide that
long.
you just promote yourself to CEO just because.
Right. And then if you're still on the truck, I don't care how many hours a week you think about it, you're still not CEO.
Right.
And you're barely a manager, right? Like what Gerber separates in his E-Myth as far as your technician, your manager, and your executive. And so you got to climb the ladder. How quickly you do it is up to you. It's up to how introspective you are,
Mhm.
how willing you are to learn, to find other people who've done what you've wanted to do, to motivate you to do the right things, clear the fog of war of all the shit that you've done wrong or they've done wrong or other people have done wrong. And just go to work. And your example here that you're building is just such a good, it's just such a good mirror for people who are making every freaking excuse in the book as to why they're not achieving what they want to achieve, but yet they're not willing to listen to other people, or they're not willing to be introspective, or they're not willing to read a book, or they're blaming it on millennials who don't want to work, or the government's paying out too much. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like the government isn't paying out too much. You're paying out too little. Don't you see that's worse? That's worse. It's not
Yeah.
better. It's
Or
worse.
why complain about scenarios that everyone is dealing with?
Sure.
Why complain around? Because it's like, yeah, okay, no one's saying that certain problems aren't real and it's not, part of it, right? Everyone, ooh, inflation, yikes, unemployment, yikes. Like, yeah, I get it, real problems, but it's an even playing field. Everyone
Yeah.
is dealing with these things at the same time.
Well, and
So
you're dealing it with this business that you're creating here. And again, it's a
100%.
mirror to say, look, you don't need the excuses. Here we are, month 4, 80 grand a month. Now where's your talk? Right? Because you are putting it into action. It's not just talk. That's the other thing I love about how it complements the coaching aspect of what you guys do. A lot of coaches just talk. And there are way too many people who have the heart of a teacher, who have
Mm,
the best intentions, but they're doing 250K a month, a year on their truck, and they think they're a guru,
yeah.
right? And they want to invert the camera and talk about, how amazing it is to have this hugely successful business. Awesome. Like, good on you. But you're not going to catch any $750,000 businesses that way. Don't pretend that you know what that experience looks like.
Yeah.
So they haven't really walked the walk, even though they want to talk the talk.
Mhm.
And I get it. Like, having the heart of a teacher while doing service work can grind against your soul, right? Like you were talking about answering the phone.
Mhm.
Like, obviously content creation is one of the things that you love to do.
Mhm.
Some people hate it, right? So
Right.
But the fact that you're showing this, taking this mirror and saying, look, I've got all the same excuses you do. I've got all the same playing field. I've got all the same rules, all the same hurdles, and poof, 6 months, I'm killing it. Now what? Come take this program. We'll show you how to do it. Yeah.
You know, it's I had my self-limiting belief shattered at one point. You know, I'll never forget my very first budget sheet when I started with All Clean, and typed out, like, when I was pitching to my dad to buy his business that was doing $8,000 a month, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I could pay you $3,000 a month. We can figure this out, and this is my growth plan, so that we can both get paid." And like going back and looking at it, it was like, okay, 100K year one, 140K year two, 180K year three, 220K year four. I mean, it's like when I presented that to my dad and showed him, he was like, "Man, jeepers." He says jeepers. That's my dad's thing. Jeepers, Brandon. Do you really think that you can grow that fast? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I hope. Like, to me, that was a mecca to grow a business that had been doing literally for 33 years, 100K in revenue.
Right.
And then having that all of a sudden start doing this, like, I had doubts about that. And when someone told me, "Brandon, just get out of the field, just get out of the field," I'm like, and do what? Like, I don't even understand. Like, I always want to make sure that I'm remembering what it was like to have that level of belief system,
Right.
because it was very, very real for me. And it took me seeing another big company and like being like, wait, what? That's possible to be able to do this? People are actually not actually working. And I remember I had this one moment where I had a corporate business, a corporate job. And there was this guy that was at a trade show, and I used to be, selling machinery and stuff at the trade show. And I was at the International Builders Show, and there was this contractor that came up, and he was a younger, about my age, and he had a couple guys with him. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't work at all out in the field. I just go out and sell jobs, and I have my 2 guys do that." And I was like, "What? You can do that?" So, if I can put out, that's why I love making content, is that people just need to see what's possible. And I think that, just like me, it's not a skill gap. It's not a talent gap. It's not even a smarts gap. It's just, they just need to believe that they can do it and take that leap of faith, that, get out of the field and finally, and it's so terrifying. And if you can give them just enough belief that they can borrow from you to where they can take that first step, it's unbelievable to see what people are capable of doing. It's just, overcoming that gap between the 6 inches between their ears. I mean, it's just the hardest thing to do.
It is. Driven by fear and apprehension, but also perhaps fear of success, not just fear of failure.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, you got it on all ends too. You could failure, to grow, missing out on leads, and then you're in over your head with people that you've hired or whatever. But you can also failure to service, or if things just go really well, and then you're not a leader, and so you're not building the teams or the culture, and turnover is really high, and then you have that headache. So dialing in the right formula, the right chemistry. I think most people miss that. It's not just, I'm going to run it like my grandfather's employee manual.
Right.
I own the business.
Right.
I'm going to put up a help wanted sign, and you come to work and you follow my rules, whether you like it or not.
Not anymore.
You just can't build a business that way. But you can build a business if you have the introspective needed to get off the truck, the time required needed by not being on the truck, and the introspection, knowing that you're your own worst enemy in a lot of cases. Especially, you go through those different business stages. I think I did a Facebook post on this a couple of weeks ago. Starting a business, building a business, growing a business, and scaling a business are all radically different things.
It's true.
Those 4 things. And those 4 things require completely different mindsets and levels of knowledge, and they often play against each other. What you need to start a business, you need to shed yourself of by the time you get to scale a business. You've got to completely dismiss and destroy that ego. before you can get to that final stage of scale. And
That's
so,
such a good point. Yeah, you're so well said. You gotta tear up the control. You
yeah,
gotta let it go. And you're right. Ego is a big problem with that. Oh, no one's gonna be able to do as good of a job as me in this. No one's gonna. Bull crap. Like, I've hired enough really smart people to know that actually I'm pretty bad at a lot of things.
yeah.
And the quicker you realize that, the quicker you know what to find when you're trying to fill that person in.
Yeah, when you get outplayed by someone that you've hired, right? You're like, you take a little pride in that, like a kid. You're like, oh, that's so good. Oh, that's
Dude,
so
yeah.
good. But in the same spec, let's be honest. Like, no one's going to love the business as much as the owner does, as much as the person who's put in the blood, sweat, and tears. And it is unreasonable of us to ask of them the ability of them to do everything you do. You know what we call those people? We don't call them employees. We call them competitors.
Mhm.
Right? Anyone who can do everything that a business owner can do is going to be a business owner. They're not going to be the number 2 guy. And so, I think people want too much, ask too much, and don't give enough when they're looking at that leadership of growing and building their business, which again, you come in on day one with the introspection and knowledge and background required to know that that's true, which is why you were willing to invest money up front and say, I'm not putting myself on the truck. That would be the worst use of my time. Right? Because you're growing this thing. So, Adam, we're sucking all the oxygen out of the room, man. You want to get in on this at all?
Hey, I've almost jumped in like 3 times, but I'm just honored to be here.
We're
It's great listening to you guys.
hogging the whole conversation, Adam.
No, there's so many great things. Like, I love Joe's analogy with the mirror. It's kind of like when you put on a little bit of weight and you have to look in the mirror. You have to be honest with yourself about what is coming back, right? And so if you're putting up
Are you
this
saying
image,
I'm fat, Adam?
no,
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
no,
I know
no,
I put on some
Oh
pounds
my
during the
goodness.
pandemic,
Oh.
Oh my goodness. No. But like, when you're able to kind of put up, a new mirror of kind of like what's capable, kind of pull some of that back and let each individual kind of really realize their full potential. It's great. And I really, really, really love the internet has brought so many great things. Like, it's back in the day, if your dad didn't teach you how to, hang drywall, you just didn't know how to hang drywall, right? But now you can just go to YouTube and you can self-educate on so many things. And it's kind of brought this whole generation of coaching and lifestyle coaches and like very specific kind of business coaches and so forth that are out there. And you don't always necessarily know the ones that are worth that time investment and worth that. And I feel like
the percentage is very small.
Right. And I feel like everything that I've seen that's come out of you and your team with Conquer or everything else,
Phenomenal.
like, and now with this, it's like you're putting your money where your mouth is and you're really proving that these things work. And it's just great to see.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. It was a big driver, honestly, for me to kind of put together our certified Conquer coach program, because I started to see the guru thing going on, and I started to, notice that. And I was like, someone needs to vet these people.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously,
how does anyone know? How does anyone know if, like,
unless Ty Kramer brings them down, chops them into little pieces.
So I like, I kind of made it my mission to just go out and find people who, I've been to their businesses. I've seen what they do. I've seen their P&Ls. I've seen, and that's the coolest part about this whole thing that I'm just like most proud about is that, we have like 13 certified Conquer coaches now that all own their own 7- and 8-figure home service businesses and are largely absentee. It's the reason why they're able to actually devote 10 hours a week to coaching our clients, is because like they're looking for a passion project. They don't need the money, and I don't pay them a ton. I mean, they definitely deserve to get paid a lot more than what they get, paid with this. But we wanted to make this accessible to anyone at a very, affordable rate for someone. But the coolest thing that I'm most proud about is that we have conquerors now that started out in the program when we started this in 2019, and they've been in the program for a full year or 2 years, and they've grown. We have one that grew from, like 300,000 to doing 1.6 million. And he just did his first $250,000 month just this last month. And guess what he is? He's a Conquer coach now.
Yeah.
And he just has his heart to serve, and he's crushing it. And he has, and like we've seen his financials. We know what's going on with him because we've been able to kind of see this. And you just are able to kind of identify these really standout people inside the program where you're like, wow, they have all the tools and resources and knowledge to know that. And then we run them through our, coach certification, because knowing how to do something and knowing how to coach someone else is very, very, very different skill set. It's like, I've learned so much in that whole thing. I thought I would be a good coach just because I knew how to build a business. Like, I have to get regular coaching to make myself a better coach, because you deal with family problems and, self-limiting beliefs and emotional and psychological and mental and market differences. There's just so many different variables that go into trying to teach someone, how to coach them into being, realizing their full potential. And that's been like an incredible journey, just learning more about that stuff too.
Since we're on the subject, most of our listeners are likely familiar with the program at this point. You're blowing up all over the place, so I feel like it's pretty well known. But just want to take like a minute or two and just really kind of explain the Conquer program and what that is.
Yeah. So basically, we provide community, clarity, and accountability. A group of entrepreneurs, that are all like-minded, looking to grow, looking to have more time freedom, care more about time freedom, really, even than how much money they're making. We vet people, make sure that's that, but they serve each other. The clarity to be able to work one-on-one with a coach that owns their own 7 or 8 figure home service business, and be able to get together with them on a weekly and monthly basis and get that accountability component. And that's the biggest thing that I think Conquer brings. It's been the coolest thing to witness, is when you have someone that said, you know what, for the last 2 years, 5 years even, I've been wanting to finish up this maintenance contract that would change everything about my business model. And it
haven't
took
gotten around to it.
Yeah. And it literally was a weekly accountability that my coach did on our group call of 4 other, business owners. And he said, okay, all right, John, I'm making up a name. John, if you don't get this contract done, you're going to show us, you're going to put your screen on Zoom next Wednesday, and you're going to show us this, or else you're going to be showing up on the call with a clown wig that I'm going to be, shipping you from Amazon. And so, like, legitimately, Tuesday night is when they actually get the maintenance contract done. And then, literally we have conquerors that show up in tears because they're like, I can't believe it's taken something as ridiculous as me having to wear, having these weird accountabilities, silly accountabilities to finally get this thing done. But the hardest part about being the boss is, you're the boss. You don't have that level of someone working with you. So we have the coaching aspect of it. We also have hundreds of done for you systems, templates, resources, documents you can just download and just literally, search and replace the company name and implement these things, customize them to your businesses. We have video modules, educational stuff, resources. We also have exclusive vendor discounts too. So we've partnered up with the best vendors in my opinion. We not just anyone can be on our village vendor list, but ServiceMonster is one of them, because I'm a huge fan of ServiceMonster. And so our Conquer members also get discounts that collectively, between all the different, dollars that they're already spending on other secondary, services, typically pays for the Conquer membership itself.
Well, and I will say this: ServiceMonster is not a discount product, right?
Right.
Finding a coupon for us it doesn't exist. So outside of our corporate relationships, which, if you bring 1,000 people to the party, then you're going to get a license discount, right? But outside of that, what we call our organic clients, going through the Conquer group is the only way to get a discount in ServiceMonster.
That's so cool. It's so cool. So, we've been able to provide a lot of value on that front. And it's an application process. So we have people that have come to us and said, great, here's the money. Let's do this thing. We're like, well, hold on a second. We have enough qualifying questions to kind of identify victim mentalities, people that come in without a heart to serve others.
Right.
It doesn't work when you have a whole group of a few hundred people that are all showing up and saying, what do I get out of this?
Yeah.
When everyone comes in and says, how can I serve the person, the fellow conqueror, the value is just exponential, right? if everyone comes in with that kind of heart. So we have just a really, really core group, and a lot of people that are in Conquer for Life. They've told us, we're never leaving. We're always here. So it's been a cool journey.
Yeah, and it's been fun to watch too.
Thanks, man.
It really has been. You've done some incredible things, including the Guinness Book of World Records for largest online event. Quickly followed up by ServiceMonster's canceled event.
That is so cool. Are you kidding me? You should put that like right behind you. Just zoom in on that.
Why do you think I had it within grabbing distance? He didn't have to get out of his chair. Plus, I saw the video the other day. He's in his little homemade bunker, and that was one of the only pieces of art he's got ready to hang up.
That's where I'm at right now, man.
That's right.
I'm in my shipping container studio.
Growth
Vault Studios
is amazing, by the way.
Making it happen.
Listen to you guys talk. I've just been like mesmerized by the orange and green.
You know what's ridiculous? It's so dumb. It's a $20 light on Amazon. It's like 2 lights, and then this is just like this thing is a burlap sound dampening panel. So it's not even, if I turn the lights off, it looks so stupid. And then I just have like wood in the background and some sound foam. It's really not that impressive. It's just the lighting and the camera that makes it look really good, because you got that nice, depth of focus.
And you can learn these tricks for your business by joining Conquer.
Exactly.
It's all facade. It falls over, right?
I tell everyone, because I get so many people that ask about the studio setup. I have it all prepared in a Word doc with all the links of everything. So that way we just send
Actually,
it
I think
over.
you sent that to me one time.
I think I probably did. Yeah. Speaking of, no, I'm just kidding.
Right. Yeah. Oh, so good. All right, man. Well, we're on an hour here. I think we've covered it. Send me the links. I'll have Justin add them to all the show notes for the YouTube stuff that you're doing. Cool. Or whatever link you wanted to kind of drop the landing page on. We'll ship that out. I would strongly encourage you guys to watch the progress of this. There's no way that you won't learn something as they go through this process. And if you do it right, you should be finishing those episodes, kicking your own ass for all the shit that you should have done way back in the beginning, which is what Brandon's doing now. So incredible journey, incredible show, incredible business. Brandon, once again, you are out to impress. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you, brother. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for your attention, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.